Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I've recorded anything, so I thought I'd come at you with a new tutorial. Today we'll be drawing a Japanese style Chochin Obake, which is like a possessed lantern spirit or something along those lines. And yeah, so I'll be working digitally today. If you're working with traditional mediums, feel free to follow along. Just grab a mechanical pencil or a lead pencil as usual, but I'll be using red for clarity's sake. So we're going to start by drawing a cylinder. Now the cylinder is going to be curved, and we're going to start with an oval and draw a couple of curved lines, parallel curved lines down, and a curved bottom just like this. It should look like a macaroni. Okay, we're going to draw somewhat of a center line just here, and this is just a guide to show you where the eye is going to go. We draw a circle in place of the eye and two curved lines that meet at a peak just like that to create the shape for the mouth. Next we're going to draw up the top of this circle here to create the top of the lantern. So you're going to come around and draw another cylinder. This will be sort of like a can of tuna shaped cylinder. Okay, so you're going to draw two ovals and stack them pretty close together, and then we're going to draw a handle, which is basically going to go two lines up, across and back down, okay, to create a handle at the top of the lantern. From here you're going to go ahead and draw curved lines that contour the shape of the cylinder so they wrap around the cylinder, and you want to do this all the way down the length of the cylinder. Now starting at the top of the mouth, we're going to draw some little peaks that you're going to try and draw peaks and just odd shapes that represent torn paper. Okay, this is a paper lantern, like a traditional Japanese or Chinese paper lantern. So you're going to go in and draw these jagged peaks that sort of look like ripped paper. And I forgot to mention, you'll be doing it on the inside here too. So from the bottom you're just going to draw jagged peaks to the top, and this will create the back edge of the mouth. And you're also going to add another can of tuna shaped cylinder at the bottom of the lantern as well, which will mirror basically the top. Okay. And now we're going to add a pupil to the middle of the eye by drawing a smaller circle in the middle and another small circle to create a highlight in the eye. I'm also just going to go in here and add some rips around the outside of the eye. It's basically the exact same way that you did the mouth. Okay, so just little peaks and jagged edges. So in between all of these bigger lines, we're going to draw a small line in the center that will act as a marker, and this small line will represent where the paper is folded. So I'll show you what that looks like here. Starting at the larger lines, you're going to go in, back out, in, back out, and basically what you're doing is forming folds in the lantern, or peaks and valleys. So it should peak at the solid lines and dip in, I just made a mistake there, and it should dip in where you've drawn those small lines. Okay, you're going to do that at the front of the lantern and at the back of the lantern too. Now I'm going to add some flames coming from the bottom of the lantern. They're going to come out the bottom, and then the direction of these will be from the bottom left corner sweeping up towards the right of the page. And the best way to do this is to just experiment with squiggly lines, just drawing, or not squiggly but wavy lines, and just drawing these wavy lines that and try to get a bit of a flow to them. And you can see here that I go over this a few times to get the shape right. And you create a flow from one side upwards towards the other side. Okay, and as you can see, I'm just going to add some more flames to this side as well. So using the exact same pattern we followed before to draw the flames, it comes out the bottom and then from the bottom left corner up towards the right in a smooth flowing motion. Now from here and here we're going to do some clouds, and they're basically little half circles just like this, and you can do them at varying sizes from small to large and medium, everything in between, and you're just going to go around and create some clouds, and you can have fun with this, experiment with them, and again you're just sort of learning the flow of things by creating shapes, so in this case semicircles. Okay, it's time to start lining. So if you're working digitally, you're going to want to open up a new layer and grab a black felt tip liner. If you're working with traditional mediums, as always, you'll be using a Copic multi-liner, and this would be your 0.5 multi-liner. And you're just going to go over and trace the whole image. Now I'm just going to point out at this stage that I'll be outlining the flames in red. So because I'm working digitally, I'm going to lower the opacity of the sketch layer, which will make it just a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. If you're doing this with traditional mediums, get a red felt tip pen and go over the flames. Okay, we're now going to get a thinner liner. If you're using Copic multi-liners, you'll be using a Copic 0.05 multi-liner in black. And we're going to go ahead and draw lines in between every valley that we drew. Okay, so in between this point and this point here, we're going to draw a thin line connecting those 2 points. Okay, and you're going to do this all the way down from the top to the bottom. Okay, we're now at my favorite part of every drawing, is line boosting. I've gone over line boosting in plenty of my previous videos, so if you don't know what it is, you can go check them out. But to give you it in brief, you basically draw thicker lines over things that you want to make stand out and pop in the image. If you're using Copic multi-liners, use a 0.8. Once you've got all of your lines boosted that you wanted to boost, we're going to now do the black shading. So go ahead and grab your watercolor inks, your watercolor paints, or your Ecoline brush pens, and we're going to go ahead and do the black shading. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start in the back of the mouth here, and you're going to do solid black in the corner and fade that out into a grey. If you're unfamiliar with how to do this, you can watch some of my previous tutorials where I work with watercolor. We're also going to do this with the clouds, so starting at the edge of your obake and shading outwards towards the edge of the clouds, fading into a nice grey. You'll also want to go ahead and shade the top of the eye. If you're working with actual inks, leave that entire highlight white, because you will not be able to go back in and erase it the way that I just have, because I'm working digitally here. Okay, we're now going to shade the bottom bit and the top bit on the lantern, so they're going to be done in exactly the same way, shading from the outside edge towards the center. You want to leave that white gap towards the edge of it, and fade from black to grey as usual from the outside in, and the other side you're just going to add grey, leaving some white as sort of highlights. Now for this one I'm going to be colouring the flames a solid red. You can do them faded if you want, from a red to an orange or something like that, but I like traditional Japanese stuff to have solid red flames. So I'm going to go in and just colour the flames in red. Here I'm using a steel blue colour, which is like a blue-grey, to colour in the top and bottom cylinders on the lantern, and we're going to basically go in and shade over the top of our black and fade it towards the centre, the same way that we did with the black and grey. This gives it that highlight, and it's like a metal colour, metallic sort of blue. We're now going to start colouring the inside of the mouth, so I'm going to get a red, just probably a similar colour to what you used for the flames, and starting in the darkest area you're going to colour red right over the top of your blacks. Now if you are working with traditional mediums, depending on what they are, I find with Liquitex acrylic inks or with the Ecoline brush pen markers you can work your colours straight over black, and they are translucent so the black will show through, and it works really well. We're going to move to a dark orange here and blend it with the red, moving down towards the lightest area in the mouth, just like this. And we're basically going to keep getting lighter in tones. So we just went from from black to red to dark orange. Now we're going to go to a lighter orange, and we're going to make sure you blend these together using your watercolor brush. I'm just going to use the smudge tool here to blend these, but when you're doing this with real medium, you're going to use a watercolor brush to blend your colors. Okay, and now we go up into like a gold yellow sort of color, and we're going to do the rest of the mouth a golden yellow color, blending it right into our orange. We're now going to go back to our red, the darker color that we were using, and we're going to go ahead and color the open end of the lantern the exact same way that we did the mouth. So, except we're going to do red from the edges inward. So you're going to shade red from one end and from the other, just like this. And then what I did was I slowly stepped down from red to orange to light orange to yellow, and basically blended them all together into the center. For the eye, I chose to use like a toxic green color. You could basically do whatever color you want, but I basically just went around and colored the eye in, being careful to leave a white gap around the edges. This just gives it a bit of a glossy look, and you're going to come all the way around over the top of your blacks and your greys, making sure to leave the highlight there. And then towards the bottom I just blended it out so that there was a bit of a highlight. Now the base color for your lantern is going to be sort of a cream color or a dirty off yellow color, but you can basically do the lantern whatever color you'd like. This is just the color I'm going with, and you want to go ahead and paint the entire lantern that one color as your base tone. So now that your base tone is done, you're going to basically grab a darker shade of the exact same color. So it doesn't matter what color you used, you just step it down a few shades to create shadows. And we're going to, I'm just going to make that darker, and we're going to go ahead and shade every second fold. I'll show you what I mean. So we'll shade this one, and from here we'd skip one and shade the next one, and we're going to keep stepping down like that, and we're going to shade all the way down to the bottom. And that's it, guys, we're pretty much done. I've added a little red glow to the bottom of the lantern, which I think makes a fantastic effect. You can do this with just a watercolor wash or with the acrylic inks, just by adding a bit of red and blending it in. And that's pretty much it. So if you like this video, please thumbs up, leave me a comment letting me know that you liked it, and some feedback, what you want to see next time, what kind of tutorials you want to see. You can check me out on Facebook at Daggett Designs, and please subscribe for more great content. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.